How to Build an Unbreakable Mindset, inspired by the teachings of Tony Robbins. The next chapter in Ethan's story, The Storm Always Comes. 2 years had passed since. Ethan Cole transformed his struggling cafe into a thriving online brand. Grounded. At home had become more than a coffee subscription box. It was a lifestyle movement. He had a podcast, a YouTube channel, loyal fans, and growing revenue to outsiders. He looked unstoppable. But storms don't check calendars. Success doesn't. Protect you from adversity. In fact, it attracts bigger problems. And if your mind isn't ready, if your mindset isn't forged in the fire, it will break. This is the story of how Ethan faced betrayal, burnout, financial collapse, and near total defeat. And came. Out unbreakable, comfort is a liar. Ethan had just returned from his second live speaking event in Los Angeles. His inbox overflowed with DMs. Investors were showing interest. He had hit $1.2 million in total revenue in 24 months. He should have felt invincible. Instead, he felt numb. He was waking up tired, snapping at his team, avoiding strategy meetings. Forgetting to reply to customers, one morning, he stared at his mirror and whispered, "I don't care anymore." It terrified him, because Ethan remembered Tony Robbins' warning, "If you don't grow, you die." And comfort is where dreams go to suffocate. Ethan had grown complacent, and that meant danger. The silent betrayal. Maria, his trusted partner from day one, had always managed operations. They had built Grounded together. She was like family. But things had changed. Delayed orders, customer refunds, emails missed. Ethan kept getting excuses. "I'm just overwhelmed," she said. Then a customer forwarded him a newsletter from a new coffee brand, launched by Maria. Using his supplier, she had duplicated the system, taken the fulfillment contacts, used their subscriber list, leaked from an internal document. Ethan's stomach dropped. His mind screamed. His heart ached. He didn't yell. He didn't accuse. He just sat at his desk, staring at the betrayal. Tony's voice echoed in his mind. "Life is happening for you, not to you." And in that moment, it felt like life was destroying him. Burnout. And breakdown? The following weeks were a blur. Orders dropped. Negative reviews spiked. Employees, whispered Maria, left. Investors ghosted. Ethan found himself working 18-hour days again. Sleep-deprived, numb, hollow, afraid. One morning he collapsed. In the shower. Not from injury, but from sheer mental overload. His doctor said it clearly. Burnout. Your cortisol levels are off the charts. If you don't change something fast, your health will deteriorate. He wanted to scream. He wanted to disappear. He wanted to quit, but in the darkest hour, he opened an old notebook. His journal from the early days. The first entry said, "My mindset is my real business." It hit him like lightning. He had built a business, but he had neglected the foundation. His mind the power of pattern interrupt. Ethan flew to Fiji. Not for a vacation. For a full immersion event with Tony Robbins. Not a live stream. Not a recording. The real thing. He didn't tell anyone. He needed a reset. A full pattern interrupt. There, on that island, barefoot with 500 other entrepreneurs. Something cracked open inside him. Tony's voice boomed across the stage. "The strongest steel is forged in fire." "But you must direct the fire, not drown in it," Ethan cried. He screamed. He forgave Maria, not for her, but for himself. He forgave himself for overworking, for failing to lead, for ignoring red flags. He stood on his chair and shouted, "I'm not my past?" The crowd roared. Something had shifted. He didn't feel healed. He felt reborn. The new standard. Back in Austin, Ethan created a new rule. My mindset comes before my to-do list. Each day, before touching a screen or sipping coffee, he meditated, reviewed his identity, spoke power declarations, visualized peak performance. He rebuilt his personal power first. Then he changed how he led his team. He held a raw, honest meeting. "I burned out. I failed to protect the culture. That ends now. He restructured roles, hired a coup, cut vanity projects. He refocused, grounded around impact, not just income. The brand began to breathe again. Sales stabilized. But more importantly, energy returned. He was no longer trying to be the smartest person in the room. He was building a room full of powerful minds. The unbreakable formula. One night, Ethan sketched on a whiteboard what he called the unbreakable formula, a mindset model forged from everything he had lived. Clarity. Who am I becoming? Does it matter? Standards. What will I no longer tolerate? Habits. What must I do daily, no matter what? Recovery. How will I refill myself before I run dry? Proximity. Who do I surround myself with? This became his internal compass. Every challenge, every doubt, every setback, he ran it through the formula. When fear crept in, he reconnected to his why. When burnout whispered again, scheduled space. When the world pushed. Back harder, not with force, but with focus. He wasn't just reacting anymore. He was choosing from pain to power. 1 year after his collapse, Ethan stood on stage in front of 5,000 entrepreneurs at a startup summit. He told his story, the real one, the betrayal, the breakdown, the rebirth. When he finished, a young woman in the audience asked, "How did you survive all of that?" He smiled and said, "I didn't. The old me didn't survive. I became someone stronger." That was the truth. His business had changed. His habits had changed. But most importantly, his identity had evolved. That's the core of Robbins' philosophy. You don't wait to feel ready. You decide who you are, and then you act like it. No matter what, building the fire within, Grounded became more than coffee. It became Grounded. Academy, a mentorship platform for burned-out founders. Ethan launched his first online course, Unbreakable, the mindset method for entrepreneurs. He built a community around radical ownership, mental resilience, and daily discipline. He didn't sell perfection. He sold possibility. He taught them how to manage your state in chaos, how to lead with vision, not emotion, how to bounce back when your world falls apart. He wasn't trying to inspire people anymore. He was equipping them. Because inspiration fades, but identity, it's forever. You are the fire, if you're reading this now. Chances are you're in your own battle. Maybe it's burnout. Maybe betrayal. Maybe self-doubt, money struggles, or feeling like no one gets it. But here's the truth. The power is already inside you. You don't need to wait until everything's perfect. You need to decide to raise your standards, to protect your energy, to build your identity from strength, not survival. Tony Robbins says, "The only limit to your impact is your imagination and commitment." So imagine bigger and commit deeper, because your mindset, when forged with clarity, fire, and truth, is unbreakable. And when your mindset is unbreakable, so are you.